Hello, everyone. Welcome to a fresh week here on Going Optimal. We're going to jump into a premiere draft of Amonkhet Remastered to get things going this week. Not sure where people are at on this. In fact, Motor City Mama, who is planning for our gauntlet on Friday, is asking me what we should play on Friday. And I was like, are people still going to be into Amonkhet by Friday, or are we going to be ADHD magic playing distracto monkeys and off, we're done with it. I feel like maybe it's got the legs. I'm curious to know what you all think. Maybe we'll check in again after this event and try not to be results oriented about that. But I am curious whether you all think that by Friday you'd be wanting to battle me in the chat gauntlet in Amonkhet, or whether we do a cube, or basically I feel like it's either go back to M21, do Amonkhet Remastered, or cube. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of for the gauntlet. If you have strong opinions on that, you may start campaigning in chat, and then we'll talk about it and maybe decide something so that Mama can get a crew together to draft against me on Friday. Of course, we are drafting against randos today. We're going to jump into the actual Magic the Gathering arena queue and see what we can do. I don't really care about collection building in Amonkhet. To the extent that I play constructed on arena, it tends to be standard. I feel like if I were to get into older formats, it would start to really stress my wild card, although we have a lot of wild cards, so we can really do whatever we want. But anyway, my point is this is a situation where mostly I'm playing for the fun of the format and not the collection building. But it's something to consider when you're deciding. If you have an account where collection building is very important to you, but only standard, maybe you want to do your Amonkhet on some side account that you've got going rather than use your main account resources on something where you don't actually want the singles. That's something to consider when you're thinking about how to apply your magic time to get the fun you want out of it. And thinking about how to apply your magic money to get the most fun out of things, I do recommend my sponsor, cardkingdom.com. They are purveyors of tabletop magic gear. They can't help you with arena goods, but they can sure help you translate your arena experience to your tabletop via cardboard. They got a lot of singles. They got some sealed product. They got some supplies. They got some support like you've never seen. They will be there for you. They will respond quickly if you have any issues, but you probably won't have any issues. It's pretty darn rare. The reliability of Card Kingdom is one of the reasons I recommend them so highly. You're just going to get what you want quickly, and that peace of mind of knowing that the money spent is done deal and you're going to be happy is great, instead of waiting and wondering if you're going to be worked over by some shady market participant who is maybe not up on things quite like my awesome sponsor, Card Kingdom. Thank you, Card Kingdom. Let's see what this queue health looks like. Jump in. We're close to full here. All right. What do we got? Well, we got Heaven and Earth. So this is a split card, basically X damage to flyers, X damage to non-flyers out of the graveyard. If it were flipped, if the non-flyers were the top level and flyers were the graveyard, I would like this a little more. I don't like main decking in best of one this big answer to flyers that we don't know if we're going to face exactly. Labyrinth Guardian doesn't look like much, but the Embalm is real. And they have to use a real spell. It's not just an ability. Like, if they target with this spell, they've used a real spell. Probably just want Compulsory Rest, though, as a fine piece of removal to start off with. Bantu's Monument. These two monuments are not really... I'm not really in for these. That's true, but then it's a two-color card. Someone's saying, well, for 1 green, you can put it in the graveyard, but then I'm playing installment plan... paying installment plan green, red, red, X. I'd rather just start with nice, clean, simple removal. This is clean, simple removal, but it's rather expensive. in this case, I would rather, like, I'd actually rather have a cartouche over the final reward if we're talking first piece of removal for black, but also with a white start. White-black is a zombie color pair, and Lord of the Accursed is, or the Accursed, I suppose it's pronounced either way, is a fine hedge here, especially with a white card in our pack. I was just talking about these removals as a comparison because, I don't know, if this weren't here or if we were already in black and this was our clear choice, are you with me on cartouche number 1 over final reward number 1? I'm not 100% sure, so I'm actually curious where chat's on with that, but I'm going to go Lord of the Accursed here. Vizier for the tumblage, but we do have a Sifter Worm for banking towards possible ramp. This is a great ramp target, really incredible. You land this, you gain a bunch of life, and then you've got a must-answer creature. We've seen the power of the Vizier. Not a bad spell at all. If we want to go with our white-black, though, we could lean into it a bit with like a Bone Slasher and then try to wheel this bat. So this is a tough part. This is drafting the hard way time, and I am not sure. Like, these are both more powerful cards than this Bone Slasher, and I would like to get into this deck, but I don't want to marry it. So yeah, I kind of feel like I'd rather take a Sifter Worm or a Vizier even. I'm gonna take the Worm. And now we get right back into saying, nope, nope, nope. Checking on those zombies again, please. So now we're going to give up Cartouche for this Servant and the Compulsory Rest. These are both good. But I do think we take the Servant now and see if we can't lock into zombies. Final reward or a Binding Mummy. I think Binding Mummy is more important to the zombie deck than final reward, actually. So, yeah, hate passing all this black removal. I kind of feel like we're putting our neighbor into black, passing these final rewards and cartouches. But Binding Mummy, in the zombie deck, there's very few cards more important than this. You drop a Binding Mummy or two, and your opponent can never block again. So now we have a Sacred Cat that can become a mummy. And if you are aggro enough, if you're doing like the white trial, you can totally do that. Yeah, there's some open red, but also I think there's some open mummy or open zombie stuff. Yeah, we could be passing too much of a signal, but I also like Wander in Death with all the zombie stuff as well. I don't think I want a second Wander in Death. 2 deserts here is somewhat signally to me, although maybe people aren't on this. I do not like this mummy. This is a very weak zombie, but it is a zombie. And when we're in zombie tribal, you do what you must. Compulsory comes back around. Oh, sorry, we're not even at pick 9 yet, but Compulsory here this late is, again, quite the sign. Yeah, I wouldn't mind another Wander, but I don't think we need it now. If this were a zombie, I would go ahead and take it for tribal, but since we don't have a tribal component here, I'm going to take the finisher, the aggro finisher. Thank you for that sub. Evolving Wilds. Casting stuff is nice. Tapped lands are rough in an aggro deck, but you still want to cast your stuff. This is a great pickup too. There's another zombie in here that the flying zombie. So it looks like the vulture or whatever got picked over the Bone Slasher here. We're happy with the Bone Slasher. It's an excellent wheel for us. Thresher Lizard, pretty late to still be here. It's a fine curve out type card for red, and then you dump your hand and it's a 4/4. But yeah, this seems good. Good place to start. This pack's not great. Solemnity is an interesting constructed card, but not really for us best of one. You can even sideboard this in best of three, but I guess we're just on Baleful Amonkhet, even though it is not a zombie. It's good enough. We'll wheel this, I'm sure. If we don't wheel this, I'm going to raise my eyebrow and be concerned, because hopefully nobody else wants this. Steward, also, again, not a zombie, but probably just value town enough to take, or we could take a desert. I do like a desert, but Steward, again, good enough to take here. Not a zombie, but spits out 1/1s, and that's good enough. Because we are looking for some go-wide tools, and a lot of the go-wide tools in the set are zombie-specific, but they help non-zombies too, so we'll take Steward. Deem-worthy, solid removal, but we're kind of doing our zombie thing here, and are going to stick with it. There's not much that can take us off zombies right now. I can't imagine. I mean, I think we're just locked in, and this is like, I think, the first magma spray I've had the chance to take out of a pack. We're not there or anything, but hey, I can get magma sprays put in front of my face sometimes. So this is a mummy. This is a zombie. Dauntless Aven, though. What does this do? Oh, this is the cycling. This is cool if you're in the cycling deck. We are not. But Dauntless Aven, I'm going to take over a very replaceable zombie. And Dauntless Aven, if we happen to get it going with Steward, is pretty nuts. Oh, yeah, Edifice is worth considering. You're right. This is worth considering. Although it's very much more control than we are. I'm going to take the Aven and stick with that pick, but good call out that the Edifice is worth talking about and considering. More non-bow with zombie mummy synergies, but I also feel like we're aggro enough that we're just going to take the Wasp. Sunscourge Champion is also interesting. Champ does become a zombie, that's fair. But kind of a natural aggro 2 is even more appealing to me. So I get it. I'm going to take the Wasp. Wow, this is an interesting pick. We do have a zombie. We have a if we want to draw some cards, we could take the Sunset Pyramid. But I think we take one of these deserts. And I'm going to say Black Desert. I don't think it matters too much. Looks like a couple people say white. I'm not sure the difference. Chat says, a couple people in chat say White Desert, so fine. I don't know. We should talk about theoretically what makes sense there. Unconventional Tactics is the kind of zombie payoff I want to grab. There's a bunch of stuff I would like. I would take another Wasp. I would take this Lethal Sting. But Tactics is a zombie engine. Also, yeah, good sign from that pack in that it's just got a lot of stuff that we would happily take. Here's the type of card that I think is being inserted for constructed, not for limited. We're going to take another desert, but note the Ritualist. This is pretty late Ritualist. Here's the Disposal Mummy. I did expect to come back. I'm glad it did. If it didn't, I would be worried. But I do think we found our lane. And now it's a matter of getting to playables and then upgrading. Mummy comes back. We'll happily take that. Camel might be playable. I'm going to bin it for now because it's not a zombie. Earth Shaker. Yeah, I'm hoping not to splash here because But this is great removal. Yeah, Priest had Embalm. I get that Embalm stuff makes zombies, but I'd rather just have the 2-drop that is a zombie, hits, and, you know. So but now we have a Cartouche or Eternal. Kenra Eternal is also a great attacking zombie. But I think we just want more removal, right? Like why not take the Desert's Hold? What I like about this is the desert part is just, you know, it's a nice upside. We gain some life, but if we don't, no biggie. Doomed Dissenter dies into a zombie, like so many things in the set. Vizier of Remedies is surprisingly annoying if your opponent is looking to kill stuff with -1/-1 counters. So I like Vizier as a curve filler / random hoser. I'll take Dissenter on the wheel if we get it, but I don't like prioritizing this card. Too often I feel like I play this and then I'm not in control of it dying, and then it feels bad. Trial of Ambition. Probably worth it over random zombies we're going to try and wheel. The trouble is we don't have any cartouches yet, and this is actually not good against tokens, right? But I think it's worth the risk here over this quadrant of mediums. Another Fan Bearer is appealing, but Oketter's Name is another zombie reward that I think we need to pick up. I don't think the table is interested in this. We might be able to wheel it in Oketter's Name, honestly, but I'm not going to risk it. This is absolutely one of the commons I wanted to make this deck sing, and I do want some more zombies, though, so we got to start keeping our eye out for zombie creatures now as I pass 2, you know, but we're also trying to wheel some of that stuff. Lethal Sting, Shafet Dunes to pump our whole squad. Lethal Sting to add to our removal count, or Desert. It's probably Desert or Sting here, but we're actually not so full on playables. Like we have 2 deserts and we're at 24. So let's take a playable. Yeah, I Harmonize. I do want that black desert, but we actually do need some playables here. In this case, though, I think we can take the black desert here over any of this stuff. Another Oketter's Name, which we could take, although I think now I actually need creatures enough that I'll take this zombie flyer. We have 2 go wide payoffs, so yeah, I'm going to take Bat. I'm not even sure what the exact creature count is, but I do know that I want more zombie creatures if we can get them. So because that was a zombie, I prioritized it. Here, I'm just going to do Vault Progress on the uncommon. Cartouche coming around is very nice. This is coming together reasonably. I'm going to go with Bone Slasher over medium removal. We got a solid removal suite now, and I want the... hey, this is like amazing. Amazing. Dune Beetle probably doesn't make the cut here. Nice, we got a handful of zombies at the end on the wheel as I hoped, and it's really going to make this deck come together, I think. I'm going to remove the Resolve and check our overall numbers. We're at 17-9. This is definitely going to be a 16 lander. And then we cut 2 probably non-zombie creatures. 17-9. Even though is good enough. Let's see, where's our non-zombies, just to take a look. Or maybe we even just get rid of one of these disposal mummies, which are, again, quite medium. Wasp, Vizier, and Steward. So here's our non zombies. Hey, Spartan. Red-green look pretty open. I bet you have a nice deck. Yeah, no, found no more binding mummies. I don't think the table really wanted them, so I think the packs just didn't have them, which is really too bad. Give me 1 or 2 more binding mummies, and this deck is actually sick. Anyway, can we give up one of these? I really like all of these non-zombies, if I'm honest. Leaves us with 11, 10 zombies. Is the zombie lord not a zombie? No, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing some non-zombie. Oh, Takrop. Thank you. Yes, Takrop. Yeah, we could get rid of the Takrop even. All right. Help me out with some cuts. What do you want to cut? It doesn't have to be even one of these. I just thought I'd put the stuff that's not zombies in a separate column. But I am in a conundrum here about what to cut. Maybe it's our worst piece of removal. Yeah, it's probably one of the non-zombies. Vizier of Remedies does some stuff with us and some stuff against opponents, but I think I'm in with cutting Vizier. Aven I mean, we're pretty aggressive, and Aven, just as a 2 power flyer for 3 is fine, and it does really work really well with a Steward, which is what I'm thinking about. I did cut the second disposal mummy. We only have 2 exert creatures, but again, this isn't just about exert. It's about what it's exerting. First, if this works with either of our exert creatures, we're thrilled. If Dauntless Aven is untapping a Takrop or a Steward, we're probably winning. I'm gonna try this, but I hear you. Let's see if my theory on running the Aven is not that it's because of the exertion. It's because we are an aggro deck, and it happens to be amazing with the 2 exertion cards. And Steward may seem underwhelming, but even in an aggro deck, in an aggro format, board stalls are just common in limited. And in a board stall situation, when you have both, where is it? Catcher's Name and even the unconventional tactics, running out creatures is going to help. I know, just because you can make stuff fly, really, but Steward plus Takrop and Catcher's Name is why I want to keep it going. That's true. Dauntless can do stuff with Fanbearer and the Lord as well. Although, at that point, you're just giving stuff vigilance. I don't know why double activating Lord of the Accursed is going to help us, but let us... oh, that's right. You can't change the name. Oh, you might. We should have already... I think we already cut to 16, right? Yeah, we're at 16 lands. Every time I move to Battlefield Right, I wonder what memes I've left on. Today, the answer was none. Although I'll tell you, Hat has been busy. For a format where I wasn't expecting to acquire or make any memes, thanks to Hat, we have like 1 million. We'll see what shows up today. Let's see what you all think of par on this one. I like this keep. Dune Beetle pretty good against us, but hopefully we'll be tapping stuff down. Oh, one nice combo. You see a lot of 1/2s with activated abilities in the set. That is very intentional because it allows you to throw negative consequence counters around without really affecting stuff. So we get to throw a -1/-1 counter from the Baleful onto the Fan Bearer. The Fan Bearer is still doing everything we want out of it, which is tap stuff and be a zombie, but we get the full-size Amonkhet. Speaking of full-sized, Oppo doing something similar there. We get to start tapping it down. If we make a 4/3 lifelink, we don't really threaten to trade with the Great Maw. Yes, Cardboard Live does need a restart. Well, no, maybe it just needs focus. Sometimes it just focusing on it fixes it. But I'll do a full restart, make sure. Should be back momentarily for anybody who just lost it there. Anyway, yeah, we don't get good blocks on a 4/5, but then we have a 4/3 lifelink ready to crack back with a +1/+1 at the ready and Wander in Death in case of disaster. So I'm going to go ahead and drop an untapped land, play the Amonkhet, injure our Fan Bearer, and see what Oppo wants to do regarding racing here. All right, CBL should be back up. Hopefully I didn't make it worse. No blocks. We're going to try and race with our life linker and see if Oppo has tools to stop us. A couple of beetles are not... Yeah, none of this is worrisome. We're all good. We're good at racing this stuff. I kind of like send in... see what they want to do, and then decide on our second main after blocks. But they don't even have enough power here to trade for Baleful. I'm going to save the bat for when they actually have defenses I care about. I would rather... what I want to do here is attack first, offer trades, and then disposal mummy whatever they block with. Probably the Prowler. They'll just trade the Prowler for a card. Oh, really? Okay, so they may be looking to go wide. I don't know if there's a pump team type effect I'm worried about in green-black. But really surprised that they didn't just trade off the Feral Prowler here. My problem with this card is that it's too hard to say when it dies, and Oppo had a chance to cash it for a card and didn't. So now we are in... we can tap or... play stuff. I'm going to definitely play the Desert tapped. And... yeah, either drop the 2/3 or start tapping stuff, but I would rather drop the 2/3. Yeah, next turn we get Bat with haste. Sure. And if they don't deal with our Baleful Amonkhet, racing is great for us. If we draw a land, we can even go Blighted Bat, no haste to tap something down and then have Oketra's name ready. Exactly. Mike says, you know, you just want to deploy to the board before using tap abilities that choke your mana. All right, so Oppo has found Interesting choice to... Oh, never mind. I see what they did. All right. Well, now we've got... I like servant tap. Well, we can certainly tap the Great Maw here. If we attack, only blocks are on the Binding Mummy, which if we... yeah, we could swing. Are we happy, Mike, if they block? Because if they go for the kill on Binding Mummy, if they put Dune Beetle and Prowler on the Binding Mummy, we have to use our Oketra's Name and save the Binding Mummy. And at that point, we're trading Binding Mummy or Oketra's Name for some damage and a Dune Beetle. That's not amazing, but maybe, yeah, I'm just saying that's not amazing, right? So making sure we want to do it. If we do it and they choose not to block, then we have the Fan Bearer. I just feel like they're going to block. We trade for the Dune Beetle, and then are we still okay? I think we're still okay. We have that Wander, so we don't even care if stuff dies too much anyway. But yeah, we could also wait, Fan Bearer this, untap, play a zombie, tap something else, and have very good attacks next turn. I like the wait plan better, Mike. I'm going to say that I don't want to have to use Oketra's Name here to save a Binding Mummy just to kill a Dune Beetle, when we can potentially have Fan Bearer into zombie be very, very nice defensively. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't make a Ed Sullivan joke and get interrupted by subscription. Thank you, Spartan Commander. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles. Okay. It would be a bit telegraphed, but we could... Let's see, with... I like tapping down one of these... well, maybe... Blighted Bat. I gotta make some decisions here. Wasting time. I'm gonna tap one of these. Now, if I use Oketra's Name, I'll be okay with this. And because now they lose everything, right? This is fine. I was just instinctively tapping down the thing with the highest toughness. I could have denied them a card, though. They do have reach now, which is unfortunate. So that makes me want to play the swamp. I could cycle this, but stuff is going to die. Yeah, we could tap the reach. I just want to do... Trouble is we're spending a lot of our time tapping on D. Even if we decide our plan is to tap the reach to get in with the bat, I want to do that at the end of their turn, not during my main phase. So I'm going to start that plan next turn. Okay, that's fine. We have Wander and Death, and we now have good reason to use it. But we want to encourage an attack with the Great Maw. All right, that's a lot of land, but we actually have the Wanderer that makes us, and the Fan Bearer, such that we want to start using that. Yeah, they do have one more use of the Deadlands. That is worth noting. We could wait, but I don't know. I'm pretty happy bringing both of these back and letting them decide what to do with that. Oh, yeah, that's true. We get a tap. I don't know if we'd use it. I guess if we had a tap, I might have attacked. But they have a yeah, like they still have a 1/4. I guess if we tap this, we have. Yeah, I don't like it even if we had a tap. But should have looked for it. I'm going to do this, though, now. And I'm going to go Servant now so that we can tap something and we can Amit next turn. You want Wayward next turn? I was just trying to use all our mana. I guess doing this now means we would get to attack with it. But also, if we wait a turn, maybe there's something else we do with the -1/-1 counter. Where do you want to put this life counter then if we do this? Not on the bat. I'm going to say not on the bat. Just on the disposal mummy or on itself. It's got to be itself for the disposal mummy, and I guess we'd rather shrink this zombie. Yeah, maybe it's actually just the binding mummy. Like, the Binding Mummy is kind of an enchantment that says tap stuff when you play zombies. I was thinking in terms of least useful creature, but actually putting it on the utility creature makes a lot of sense to me. I'm happy to have this sit on the sidelines doing its tap thing. Oppo with some good removal. I suppose that's allowed. Lethal Sting, nice to see. Right now I'm just going to play the Servant. Tapping our spider friend so that Bat can get in unopposed. Lethal Sting is a sorcery. Really don't want to distribute this counter right now. And I'm liking our spot. I'm going to pass. I don't want to get discarded, but I do like making him use that Deadlands on the bat or lose the game. Yeah, the Servant is more kind of utility that we could manage that way. Is that all the Beatles? There's Ringo. Someone was asking for Ringo. Ringo's here. Hey, fellows. Fab 4 indeed. I don't think it's results oriented if what we're realizing is that we have a lot of -1s we're throwing around that it would make a lot better. We can consider, it was on the list, you know? Oh yeah, thanks, got a tap. What are we tapping and why? At this point we tap the biggest thing since, well, that's kind of, we got to do this first. Ugh, I don't like this. I want to kill something, but it's not a great spot. If I play this, I have to discard this. So we have to use this before playing this. Probably means killing the Great Maw or the Spider. I think we kill the Great Maw, putting a counter on the Servant. We could pass and wait, Surion. That's the two options, right? Hold or go. Yeah, I think we can hold. I think using this stuff isn't going to get us anywhere immediately. Let's hold. Seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8. So we can't even play all of this anyway, but we could go Bone Slasher, Lethal Sting. That does some stuff. Yeah, I'm with you, Harmonize. I think we should play the Bone Slasher. Tap. Doesn't matter. I don't think we're attacking this turn into the mummy or anything. But let's do that. And then Sting the Spider. And Small Servant. Medium Marauder. We'll go Small Servant. Some of you like the 2-3. I like keeping one blocker that's decent here. I don't know. I like putting these -1 counters on the utility stuff that are doing stuff if they're not getting in the fray anyway. Yeah, that's fair. The Festering Mummy does change some considerations. They're going to get something good with this no matter what, though. Kind of just overloading it. Like, if they take the Servant out, that means our Fan Bearer lives, which might be more important than the Servant anyway, in the Binding Mummy. Like, this is our third most important thing that could be killed by the Festering Mummy. So, if we can trick Oppo into killing our Wayward Servant with a Festering Mummy, I actually think that's good. Yeah, I'm going to play it out. I'm not, like, the only reason not to would be trying to catch them with a card, which we could do, I suppose. It's not doing anything. I guess I'll wait a turn. We're just sitting here staring at each other anyway. I probably missed a tap even. It just doesn't matter. Like, right now we're staring across the table. Okay. Nice. Now, Dauntless Aven working with Fan Bearer could be very nice here. And yeah, I'll play it out for the drain trigger. And now that we might be doing some attacking, play it out for that reason anyway. I still don't think we have attacks because of the beetle, but obviously the Dauntless Aven could do some work for us. They gotta kill it. Yeah, there you go. So we were talking about not playing this, but right now it's, as far as Oppo's concerned, the must-kill of this board. Not that that's going to be the case every game, but just pointing out that data point. Sure. Oh, do we need to not draw lands right now? Not much to do, though. Can we create Bone Slasher opportunities? Not really, not with two Beetles. Beetles are doing great work against us. It's not an amazing card, but against ground-based weenie aggro, it certainly does a job. But we're trying to just find something to break us through. We can either keep dropping zombies, finding the make a thing fly, get it back when you play a zombie. That would be nice. At this point, I'm going to pass. Let them attack if they want to. They don't want to, you know. This isn't Chafet Dunes. Otherwise, I'd consider it. Is that what you're talking about? More land, though. Boo. Yeah, actually, see, I'm okay with that. Now, maybe we drain our way to the finish line, but I actually would rather have both of these cards. We didn't cycle the desert because it was our 4th land. No, no. No. I'm not randomly throwing deserts out right now. It's in my range. I don't deny that it's in my range, but I am not doing that right now. Again, not even tapping anything to prevent attacking. Our hope here is that Oppo attacks and somehow we draw something that enables us to attack. So could even try and offer Disposal and Bone Slasher on it, and it would be a 1-for-1 for this Crocodile. But I'm going to take it here. This is kind of my point, was to actually just go ahead and get 1 damage swing in, tap their other best defender, and then, okay, so, you know, here is maybe some action. Like if we go Compulsory Rest a Beetle and tap, I guess we just Compulsory Rest a Croc though, and then we're back to parity. Still waiting. Kind of want... Now if I get zombies that don't affect the board significantly, I might hold them in case of finding our +3/+3 flying sorcery that we get back with zombies. Another compulsory. Well, this one could go on a Dune Beetle, tap the other Dune Beetle. Then they've got 1/2s and 2/2s against our 2/3, 3/3, and 2/2 we're willing to trade off. So let's do that. I am a former preschool teacher, so I'm quite familiar with compulsory rest. As an adult, watching a child refuse nap time is so hard. Kid, you don't understand. They're at a virtual 13 with our compulsory rests, but we were able to make an attack there, and we can repeat that every other turn. Basically, Fanbearer at the end of their turn, Fanbearer on our turn to double tap, but that only works every other turn. That knowledge, though, gets Oppo to cash in the Deadlands. Sorry, Oppo. Not sorry. tap that down, of course. Doesn't mean we have anything here, although we do have Disposal Mummy for a zombie token if we want it. I don't think we do, though. We do have other zombie pumps with the Zombie Lord, and so I'm going to wait. You want to swing the 2s? Mike says swing the 2s. You want to give up? I mean, we would just be giving up a Disposal Mummy for a token. And 2 damage. That's fair. I don't think the damage is, like... We're still kind of grinding him out here. I just wasn't sure we wanted to trade a 2-3 for a 2-2. And we definitely don't want to attack all. I'm not going to offer him a Binding Mummy, right? Okay, I'll apply pressure. I'm not sure we want to trade this Disposal Mummy for a 2-2, but I'll apply pressure. They didn't bite anyway. I mean, if they're going to make that block, I would take out the Disposal Mummy. That seems incorrect to me, but I don't know what they're holding or what they're drawing, so maybe they have other plans in hand or deck. Certainly, if they have their own graveyard, you know, Gravedigger or get 2 back from the graveyard, that's pretty darn good against us. Flooding is not our friend, but we will... I'm going to sandbag. There's nothing in our deck that requires this much mana. Might as well hold. And no attacks here. We're going to start trying to tap enough down with the Fanbearer every other turn. Library count is 13 them, 14 us. Good call. Yeah, exactly, Gandamore. I was considering Wander in Death, but we don't need that anymore. And here we go, continuing to just grind this out. We're going to go ahead and Desert Hold the Croc and gain some life. Still in slight trouble because their Defiant Great Maw has good attacks right now, but we're almost any non-land draw away from continuing to stabilize. Also, if they have attacks with the 3-4, yeah, that's so right now, if things don't change, we lose. But I still like our chances. We have flooded heavily. We only see 4, 5, 6, 8 land. 9, 10, 11. 11 of their lands, so we assume like 6 more out of 12 cards. Like half their deck is lands, and only yeah. I don't know. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe my sneaky sandbagging of lands is really throwing them. Maybe they don't want a big crackback somehow? Jeez. We are getting dead landed out of this thing, man. Alright, deck. Okay. I don't know if that's enough to win the race, but I'll take it. Not a land, at least. Maybe forces them to use the Deadlands again. How many? Are they just full of Deadlands? Man, that's rough. We've just been controlled by Deadlands this game. I expressed downness on the uncommon deserts, but not all of them. And I think I was too harsh on them last week in general. I think there's a couple that are pretty useless, but the black one especially can just take over a game. Yeah, the Shafet and Deadlands are very good. The green one is okay. The red one is amazing and constructed, but just okay and limited. I can't even remember. And the blue one is like unplayable unless you're doing mill, which is so unusual. Their trouble is it's not the current board state because they have the Deadlands. Like, yes, if you take their deserts off the table, sure. But it's pretty ridiculous. Their desert count to their desert and deadland count is just wrecking us. And here again. We'll try to make them spend, but all we're doing is trading creatures for lands. You can't win a Magic game where you're trading 1-for-1 your creatures for their lands. Like, you just like we are so far behind. I can't even believe we're in this game. I mean, we're so far behind on that axis, on the axis of trading creatures for lands. And is this sorcery only? We could at least try for the 2-for-1 here. At 12, I think we have to, right? Because we're still on 9 them, 10 us. So one of our outs here is decking them. So we better block. Oh yeah, it's even a 1-for-1 with no tricks. Good call. I mean, I'm a little surprised if there isn't tricks here, honestly. Yeah, but we had to try. Frustrating game, but Oppo doing a good job of just leveraging the power of their. And here, you know, also we didn't acknowledge this during deck building, but what a non-bow, right? Now we're basically dead, and playing Trial, all it does is deny them 2 life. This is like 2 mana, deal 2 damage to target opponent right here. Almost makes me want to say don't play it. 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a chance they sack this here, and then we can actually do this for something next turn. So, oh, it's not compulsory rest. Never mind. Yeah, I was thinking compulsory rest over there. But so that makes it even worse. Like, I was hoping that if it was compulsory rest, they would sack it, and then this would become useful. As it is, I think we're stone dead now, but let's give it another turn before I scoop it up. Good job leveraging the lands, Oppo. Could not beat 2 dead lands. How many creatures did we lose to lands this game? Yeah, thanks, deck. That was more of a how many roads must a man walk down kind of question. I don't even want to know the answer. Oh, wait. I was going to play the right meme, but I'm on the wrong scene. Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Stupid stream deck.
Is this a dead man, Doctor?
Very dead, Mr. Spock.
Bummer. I think we all like this deck. Just got rolled by lands. Oh, thanks. Too late on that. Oh, and I ignored lands and stuff. I'll go fix all that after this game if I can remember. All right, this is a good time to get a trial because you're likely to at least get something. They played early before it's like compulsory rested, but we may have to get this trial out of here. Let's take another look at this deck. I don't like the non-bow going on here. Trial plus 3 enchantment-based removal spells is no bueno. Yeah, maybe that's our swap. I like take trial out, put Vizier in. Well, we'll just win this game straight up on our own first, right? Right. Maybe. All right, so we'll go... probably just go Disposal Mummy, depending on what we draw. Oh, actually, Fan Bearer now lets us do a Fan Bearer Trial, so we'll do that. I wanted to use all my mana this turn and didn't want to Trial in with that, but with Fan Bearer, we can go Fan Bearer Trial, and all good. Dauntless Aven, we're going to save this for cycling for sure, and we could compulsory this or just Disposal Mummy. Could even send in the Fan Bearer and offer a trade. They might take it though, I don't want them to. So I like Disposal Mummy, I guess. There's not a lot. This isn't a color pair that uses the graveyard heavily, although all the colors do, let's be clear, in this format. It's just not the heavy graveyard colors. I'm going to do it, though. We do have Wander. That's true. We can offer it knowing that we have Wander. Okay. Hodge is like, do it. But I also kind of like Disposal. Well, Disposal and Cycle, we can't do both, right? That's the thing. Cycling is 2, Disposal is 3. So let's go. I like that, though, Hodge. Hodge has the point that we do have a Wander in Death. If they want to make this trade, that's fine. Looks like they don't. All right. We value those things differently. I'm going to go compulsory on the Aven, and I'm going to cycle the Desert. Good card. Can't go Miasmic without pitching the Wander. But what we maybe do is play Disposal, cycle Wander, and then we have Miasmic potentially next turn, or we just go Disposal and start tapping stuff. I think that's fine. Uh-oh, Dead Bearer. All right, we'll be happy to have that Wander in Death now. Looks like Glory Bound is going to exert into a 4/4 lifelink. Big game. Tap what, Mike? And why? Well, sad that we're losing our team, but we do get to get them both back, and you get a new meme.
What do you mean, Flash Gordon approach? Open fire!
All right. Wander in Death. I'm a big fan. Not going to play our Miasmic, though. If we get a basic land next turn, we get to go Disposal, Aven, and then finally play this thing. How about Wasp and Avon, and then next turn Mummy and Mummy? I suppose I should attack with a fan bearer first here. Next turn you like Mummy tap? Sure. Oh. Hold on a second. We have an error. I set these up all very quickly. Let's try that again.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here! I'm gonna do it! Don't taught me that way!
Steward and tap mana? Yeah. Sorry, Oppo. I'm trying to entertain my viewers. What about Disposal Mummy here anyway? Let's send in the Wasp. 13. I guess if they double exert, we take a lot. No, we need to tap the Glory Bound Initiate. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Can't let that Initiate attack. We're gonna be tapping it until the end of this game or the end of that fan bearer, I think. Except I still screwed this up because now this one is wrong. This needs to change to what? To that, and then I need to change the name of this one to this. Now I'm so on top of it. Am I winning? What's going on in this game? How about Blighted Bat? Keep the taps on. Definitely sending the Wasp. Are we just attacking with a Steward or kind of trying to go wide with it? I think attack. You like make 1/1. Mike says make 1/1. I guess they're at 22, so I should go wide. Okay, I'll go wide. I can do that at instant speed. And we play Bat over Mummy. Although we can play Mummy over Bat, and if we get an extra land, we get the random haste. So, although, kind of want this attacking next turn, so whatever, I'll just play it. Ugh!
What do you mean, Flash Gordon approach? Open fire!
Now, probably gain some life off the Avon, sacking the rest. Ugh. Really? Boy, we have been up against it with a good deck here. Now likely to go 0-2. Right. I mean, why not? Why not lose to a 7-drop in a Boros aggro deck? Makes perfect sense and keeps my salt levels so low. Yeah, pretty much have to trade for the glory-bound initiate now. Although it's just going to get remade by the God Pharaoh's gift. So, oh no, we can dispose out of yard. Good call. We're not just dead. We're just close to dead.
Your friend here is only mostly dead.
Taking 7 in the air next turn. And somehow we'll just crack back for 24. Well, we only need to crack back for 21. It's a zombie. It only costs 1 Sonic. That's the main thing. It's tribally relevant, and often with these aggro tribes, you end up with some spare mana, and by the time you've curved out, dropped your hand, suddenly having a couple fan bearers out that get to go, tap, untap, they can take over once the dust has settled, once the sand has settled. As it is, though, we are donezo. All right, I'm going to quit, and we'll do some tweaking. I don't know, try not to be too salty, like Magic being Magic. I'm really happy with this deck. I liked how we drafted. We had to give up, since tappers have been medium and limited since they've upped the cost to 2, Haj. I'm down with that. Like, often if you look at a cost of 2 to tap, it's just very oppressive. But in a hyper aggro deck that once it's dumped its hand has nothing to do with the mana, then the 2 doesn't really matter. All right, so again, trial, not good with our various enchantment-based removal. Wanted another 2 in there that kind of worked with our minuses. Solitary Camel. I just can't see bringing in non-zombies beyond the Vizier. And yes, we'll do the Bling redemptions next. Or actually, you gotta do some here. Tron wanted the lands, right? Better make, I assume Mirage, but I should make sure. Lily Sleeves, I don't think we've used those before. And switching to Chandra. Let me make sure this is correct. Do we want to do anything else? Like maybe there's the camel swap, but I think I like this one now. Hannah.
Anyone who stands in my way is getting sizzled.
Okay. Again, not salty. I like the deck. We've done what we can. We got beat by some bombs and some, good oppo strategies that were good against us, but I like the deck. Let's see what we can do here. Shouldn't stop me from casting it, Scott. I'm always willing to entertain that I'm wrong on Magic rules, but that doesn't sound right to me. I'd have to read the cards, though. Maybe you're right, and I just don't remember what the cards actually say. I think you have to just do the thing. If it says that it actually has to put a -1/-1 counter to happen. Right. Attempting to put the counter on is part of the cost, but I think attempting to put the counter on is enough. Let's see. Hey, look, we have both. So this says if one or more -1/-1 counters would be put, then this one says, yeah, no, you can still do it, because what happens is you pay the additional cost of putting a -1/-1 counter on a creature you control. So you've paid the cost, and then you get the sting. But then Vizier replaces that with this different result. And this hand looks good. Can we win this one, please? Okay, now I have to win because of Oppo's land choices. This whole Theros mana symbol land with typical land, my brain is hurting. Now it's personal. If we play the Fan Bearer, we have no other plays we can make. I kind of like Disposal Mummy for no value after an attack here. I don't care how they ended up here, Pajamin. How they ended up here matters not to me. What matters is what I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm going to go... Well, although it is black-blue, we may really want to exile from Graveyard here. Trouble is, our alternative is like Lethal Sting, a Slitherblade. I'm going to go no value. Scatter, if they wanted to scatter the mummy, would have been fine. It's not that great of a card anyway. It's just tribally relevant. I mean, if they were playing a different one for every land, I could get by. I would be behind what they're doing a little more, Haj. Choked on white, unfortunately. I'd love to go Fanbearer Steward, but we can't do that here. Seeker of Insight. Compulsory Rest still allows it to do the stuff. We could go a Catcher's Name if they try to block. And trouble is, it still kills the Vizier. I'm going to go Steward. And it kind of, this early becomes somewhat must kill. We're not being as aggro as I would like here. And I guess with 3, I still can send the Mummy. They don't really have blocks here. So I'll send the Disposal Mummy, but not going to risk the Vizier. Obviously, this would be more effective if I'd done it. I was thinking I wasn't attacking at all. Then I realized I did have 1 attack. And if it encourages them to crack back, that's fine too. I didn't want to risk it, Mike, because they did have that possibility. All right, Unconventional Tactics is interesting at this point in the game as well. Looks like cycling to create Drakes is super annoying, and now are we just going to lose to a Drake Haven? Like, this is an amazing card that we could easily just lose to. We can't do anything about it. So now we really need to get aggro, and I'm going to hope that this Unconventional Tactics kind of gets there. I'm going to start on Disposal Mummy. I thought Drake Haven was always rare. Am I wrong? We can still exert, Steward. That is the plan. But we can threaten a block first. Oh, sure. I mean, does it matter? Like, I guess this is back on D in that case. Does it get vigilance? Doesn't get vigilance, that's why. I mean, I don't want to tap this. I want to make a dude. All right. Again, kind of sadness here in terms of our mana choking, but we're going to Fan Bearer. Mostly you do, yeah. In fact, Luis and Marshall were talking about how infrequently they used this style of exertion in the format. Usually exertion is all about attacking. Now we could sting something. But what and why? Does Seeker of Insight need to go? Ugh. I want them to have better creatures or something to sting, but they're just going to play the Drakehaven, and that's going to be pretty bad. I think we're just going to have to save this stuff for Drakehaven. Dudes, creatures, flyers, however you'd like to describe them. No attacks. Darn it. Here comes our first flyer. Being able to attack with Fan Bearer up into possible instant speed 2/2s is also important here. Ooh, this is good. If I were Oppo, I would be thinking very defensively and just trying to keep me back. So hopefully they keep this attack up. We want to race. If Oppo wants to race, unless they go -2 everything here, that would explain it quite well. A -2 effect would not be great. All right, so this is interesting, though. If there is a cycle for one, like they could cycle the horror and make a 2/2, but we could compulsory rest the aerial guide and then still have both. Well, we don't have both Oketcher's name, so maybe we just send here with Oketcher's name. And then, or we can, yeah, and then Mummy after that. I think this is just no Catcher's name swing. Seeker can make a 2/2. I don't know what you mean by that exactly, but I know that, I mean, they could make a 2/2. Oh, this is discard? Yeah. Sorry, gotcha. But don't they have to, wait. But they have to have played a non-creature this turn, right? And they haven't done that yet, so. They got a lot to do before they can do that. Well, they found the tools for it, but not before blocks. Interesting. Does this come back? Yeah, so it'll come back, but we still get the trade. Yeah, I think we do wait on this mummy. We want to get our tactics back, and I don't want to discard either of our removal spells either. This army of flyers, though, is... as soon as this landed, I said this game was just basically all about this Drakehaven, and that's how it's playing out. This is about the only spell that's mattered from Oppo this game. Well, not the absolute worst, in that we can play play Compulsory Rest and Lethal Sting to get rid of two things. Or we can just Sting and have Fanbearer up, and then untap and have a powerful turn next turn. Yeah, I'm not gonna Mummy this turn anyway. Kind of want to do it when we can just get this back and cast it. And now we can do that. If we draw a land, we can go Mummy, get this back, and cast it next turn if that's what we want. So I like Lethal Sting. On what? This is where we're just getting overwhelmed by Drakehaven. Unreal. Yeah, so let's start here, and oh no, out of hourglasses. Sorry, gang, my bad. I didn't realize we were that low. Oh, good. That mean I thought we wouldn't even get to do this. I feel lucky. We're just tapping and trying to kill flyers. If somehow they're out of ability to create more Drakehaven tokens, we could still win this. Heck, we could win this next turn. I'm not counting on it. I'm saying there are avenues by which we get somehow incredibly lucky here. And if Oppo can't make any new Drakehaven tokens, we have a great shot to finish this off. Not counting on it, though. Also, any instant or sorcery allows them to, or any non-creature allows them to do it via Seeker. Are we exerting here? Sure. Let's get wide. Desert. I do like that we have Compulsory Rest. We can do the Compulsory Rest, play Desert, play Mummy, discard. We could cycle the Desert, but we probably just end up in a space where we're not happy with our options anyway. We got to get him dead before this controls us, right? So if we just give up on the Desert as a concern and go Compulsory Rest, Mummy... Yeah, Mummy does give him a Drake. That's true. So I can't do that anyway. All right, since I can't give him a Drake, got to cycle, and I'm going to cycle with 2 black. Dauntless Aven is the play. At least I think it's the play. And again, I'm out of hourglasses, so I got to make some decisions or I'm going to lose on that. I know we're in a place where it's tough for us to to have them, but we may just need to play that they can't stop us. I'm going to go with compulsory rest on this flyer. Pausing, already making me think we're just going to get a insight-based token made. However, we can do this. And oh, yeah, that's true. I can untap the mummy to tap the. Well, we can have both of these at the ready here. So now I get to attack in with Fanbearer and Steward back up top, right? So we go like this. Untap this. If a new Drake comes out, we have an answer. No new Drake comes out, so we can go Bone Slasher or set up Fanbearer tap. I think we want Fanbearer tap. Tight one. Can we squeeze through this Drake army somehow and manage to not 0-3 with a deck everybody universally liked? I don't know if there's anybody who thought this was a medium deck. Everybody liked this deck, me included. Magic being magic on us, though. And mostly, we say that often when we are talking about like the mana system getting us, but now it's just like, yep, no matter how good your deck is, you can lose a game against another good deck and a good player. And if they have also managed to 0-2 themselves, it can feel completely unfair, but it's just magic being magic. All right, what is this about? We're going to offer some... Well, we just need to not die on some ridiculous sequence of cycling. Maybe we just need to chump the Sentinels to make sure we don't die. We could also throw something on the Spellweaver to threaten to kill it. Yeah, we can go ahead and make that block. It's a safe block. Well, safe-ish. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Interesting. Hey, Yepster. Oh, did I not? I thought you were just saying throw that block there. I mean, we're really in on this Aven, right? Our path to victory is narrowly through these endless stream of Avens. Yeah, that worked out, but I hear you. There were only because we got lucky, right? It could have gone a lot worse. Oh, they're looking at the Aven. Don't kill our Aven. This is like our chance right here. That's not good. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But maybe we can get there with enough of a go wide and getting back our tactics. And do we need to make a 1-1 or... I think we just need to have another 2-2. It's not free. We would have to exert, and then this doesn't untap. And I think we'd rather have a 2/2 than a 1/1 next turn, so I'm just going to go my turn. Fan Bearer maybe gets the liftoff we need here. We get unconventional tactics back. But we need, if we tap here, it costs 3. It costs effectively 4. Yeah, actually we can't do it. We can't do it. Not enough white. It requires too much white. I think we're just short. We are just short because that is our life. But we can go Fan Bearer. Tactics on Vigilance. Well, we can't even do it though. Like we. Yeah, I might as well swing the 2/2. You're right about that. But there's no great results for us here. Clear that. Sealed? No, Coordinator, and I won't. Sealed's for collection builders, and I'm not that. Yeah, now we get another Fan Bearer. And Bone Slasher? Or do we save for tap? You want to save? You want to tap? We probably need a tap. Although we'd have 2 taps next turn. That's a lot of taps. We have 3 taps right now. All right, let's play it. That's true. We can't tap the world next turn. We have Mummy for returning the unconventional. Of course, whenever we play the Mummy, if they've got cards, they could get a Drake. Okay, a little extra land, and here we are, wondering if this is going to work. And I'm only going to send the 4/4. Either this wins or it doesn't, you know. But sending anything else doesn't really make sense. I'm on full control here, so we still get the tap. Wow! Lucked out, gang. Lucked out. Was not thinking we were going to win that one. But goes to show you, you just play against the odds that they are out. Maybe they're out. Maybe they don't have it. And then, whew, sometimes they don't. They ran out of cycling. Wow, I will take it. Need a 1 win with that deck at least. Come on. 1 and 2. Trying to march to 7 from the old O2 hole. All right, how about we just get aggro curve outs that are awesome for the rest of this event, and I don't have to think so hard anymore. Let's get on the play with aggro. We go first, and we got aggro. I like it. Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Wasp. Vizier might protect the Wasp from -1 effects from Oppo, but I'd rather take the thing that's pretty sure to attack. And then we get a sicko follow-up. We get to throw a -1/-1 over here and lifelink up our Wasp. Yes, please. Another 2-drop would be nice to go Plains, Vizier 2-drop, but we'll see what we draw. Fair. They got our Wasp pretty fast. Let's go Bone Slasher Plains. Yeah, we could just go Vizier Cycle 2. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. Slightly more efficient use of our mana. We do reduce our board presence by 1 point of power, but I like using the mana. Yikes. Now I don't. That's going to kill our Vizier unless we find an answer for it pronto. Yeah, didn't get there. At least we go save one for a turn. Yeah, we're not gonna use No-Catcher's Name to save a Vizier. I'm just gonna dump the hand. Well, not dump, but you know what I mean. Double spell, max mana. Mike calling out that often you want to just take your 2 life when you can get it, and that is often true, but we should also consider that this does hold -1/-1 counters for us nicely. I like Servant Swing with No-Catcher's Name in case of a block. But mostly we're looking to bear some fans here. Yes, if like us, Oppo is silly and is running Trial of Ambitions along with their compulsory rests, we'll get him. Who's bad enough to do that, though? Binding Mummy. Now that's a mummy I can get behind. No need to do it first, though. We're going to leave Fanbearer back in case of... I guess in case if this dies to some destroy attacker or whatever, I would like to have gotten my servant value out of the mummy. So I'll play this, but leave the 2 up. Hello. They're thinking about... Seems like they have removal and are trying to decide what to kill here. Magma Spray, perhaps? Cast Out. Cast Out. All right. Sounds like they're going for the Servant, or they probably wouldn't have bothered doing it now. Oh, interesting. Okay, no, they just want to take out our biggest attacker. All right, I'm in. Kind of at the point where if they want to attack, that's fine by me. I'm going to pass. And now tap this. Not land off the top, but we do get tap anyway. Off the Binding Mummy. We have lethal. Yeah, I think we just have lethal now. That's what the deck is supposed to do. That's why people like this deck. We're supposed to do that pretty easily. All right, well, I feel good at least crawling to 2 wins here. I mean, we were all prepared to face the 0-3 if it's what came our way, despite the quality of the deck, but we've made it to 2 wins, closing in on at least a even-Steven result, 3-3. Really, 4 wins is where you... 3 wins is good, though, getting to that 1,000 level. This is fine. Miasmic Mummy. Kind of hope we draw lands, and then we can play Miasmic Mummy and just pitch a land, but we're going to keep. Clearly it was the bling problem. Maybe it was the non-bow problem. Empty coffee. Yeah, if we find a land off the top, I'm going to absolutely Desert's Hold and pitch it. Yeah, that's I mean, not Desert's Hold, Miasmic Mummy and pitch it. I am going to pitch the Swamp, though, and we'll still try to cycle this. Or I guess maybe we could just pitch the Desert, it having done what it's going to do. Like, just a different type of cycle for it, basically. And then... yeah, I think I actually like that better. I think that's the grown-up play. Because we want to potentially cartouche next turn. Or Desert's Hold. Yeah. Mike on the same page here. How bad can life be when you have a mini fridge with some of your favorite beverages next to your desk? Ooh, nice. Let's go cartouche on the Mummy and finish this exemplar off. Now we get tactics, making this thing fly. Nope, never mind. Well, we keep getting our cartouched 2-drop immediately handled. I'm going to go in unconventional tactics, though, and just go ahead and get some damage in here. Wow, I almost misclicked no attacks. I don't know if you saw where that mouse was positioned, but only the slightest tremor. The tremor had gone a little bit worse. I would have just skipped that attack, which would have been pretty classic. Make it 4-5 and then just decline. Oh yeah, you can't even see the buttons. Good, good. I mean, it was fine. It was never in doubt, and shut up. I didn't say anything at all. Ooh, so now we have a Blighted Bat, which is a zombie, but if we cast it, we don't have the mana to get our tactics back. So the question is how much do we just want this the bat going? I'm going to start with an attack with a fan bearer at least, see if that happens. And I would like the tactics back, but I think it is incorrect to be greedy and try to get it back with this bat. We should just play because the point of this is to get damage through, right? Well, this represents 2 a turn right now. Let's do that. Fine. Hoodie B. We do have a desert in the yard, so we can gain some life off the desert's hold and get in for 1. And it's not much, but I certainly want to hold the hood. Taw crop seems good here. Pride Sovereign is going to be able to exert for kitties if they find the white. Right now they don't have it. But anyway, we're just on Taw crop for sure. Pocket Nebula asking about exert. Exert. An exerted creature won't untap during your next step. So if you do the thing to exert it, it gets a bonus, but then is out of commission for the next untap. All right, well, at least we get our kicker, or zombie kicker back here. Okay, land gives us unconventional tactics plus compulsory rest. Or we could just tap it. Maybe for now, we just go tap and do it this way. Hey, I have a whole fridge full of soda water. My team should be fine. Perilous Vault is going to be too slow because we got the double tap. All right, whew, close. Close, Oppo, before the vault swept through everything. All right, we did it. Got to 3. I like it. After a near 0-3, we have crawled back to some form of respectability. Well, we're managing to get there, but kind of barely. I thought this deck was a little better than barely. I'm happy to have 3 wins. I'm just we even when we've won, we were on the verge of facing some stuff from Oppo that would have made it hard in the long game. Another us go first is nice. I like keep. I like actually steward on 2, and then tactics on 3, or basically heading into playing zombies to recover all these tactics. Stalwart. We could also play out some zombies first, but no, I like the plan. Let's get 5 right now, and then we just get this back, you know. Oh, careful now, Ryan. Just want the straight attack here. Just free extra damage, and it's not just 3 extra damage, because it takes something that maybe couldn't get through before and now does. So often it's like 5 or 6 damage you wouldn't have had before suddenly getting in. And next turn we can go play desert, play binding mummy, return unconventional tactics, and then we start doing nonsense stuff like Lord of the Accursed, pumping our zombies, getting our tactics back, tapping stuff, etc. There's a miasmic, but I like the play I described before we untapped here and just follow through on getting the tactics back. Can even make a token this time. Looking like they want to kill some stuff. Maybe a 5-mana exile spell incoming. Probably taken out. I don't know. Both of these are really tough for an opponent to deal with long game, long term. Not exerting, suggesting happily trade with either of these, which I would, or that they have a trick, but I'm expecting that they just are happy, would be happy to trade with our quality of creature. Companion, I forget, has rules text sometimes. Mostly it's a 3-1 for 2. But if you can manage to pull that off, it's a combo with Exert, and actually can ramp you. Are you my mummy? Not anymore, you're not my mummy. All right, more land is actually fine with me. I like maybe an unconventional tactics compulsory rest. And then we can do more with our zombie recursion. Yeah, 1/1 just gets in without any other help. We could do that, but I want to do tactics. And then decide on this compulsory. Yeah, I think I want to play this. If we find a land next turn, we can play it and do all of our stuff. And I'm going to compulsory rest the Stalwart. And I'd happily throw this 1/1 in front of a companion. Yeah, we could rest their mana source, but it doesn't stop activated abilities. So they would just sit there and still do its exerting thing, right? If this stopped the tap ability, I would consider it. All right, there's the land. So we kind of get it all here. Got to go like this. And then we got to stack it correctly, right? I think I can stack this all correctly. We don't get it back with the Lord. We play the mummy and do the discard on top, and then they get it back underneath after that, right? Ah, okay. Or make him scoop. Sure. Yeah, that's true. We could have also just done it one turn after another. I was in for dumping my hand there. Oh, that's great. Well, after an 0-2, coming back to 4-2 feels wonderful. We basically got our gems back, and now I'm in better spirits about this deck. Although, honestly, I think I was in pretty low-salt spirits, all things considered. Maybe that's the magic gods rewarding me for not being a tilt monkey. Oh man, Herschel, that's one of my least favorite nightmares. I'm going to go ahead and call that a nightmare. My least favorite recurring common nightmares are teeth loss and inability to move fast enough in a spot where you really need to move fast. The nightmare I love are zombie apocalypse nightmares, because turns out in my dreams, I am incredible at surviving zombie apocalypses. I'm going to keep this a little mana heavy, which is definitely a concern, but I think this is too nice of a mix of early spells and land to throw it back, but it's a little too land heavy. We would, in a perfect world, prefer 3 land, but we're going to keep this. No or minimal clothes in public, not one of mine. I don't know what that means. Well, this lethal sting will have a nice target in the fan bearer, but this cartouche is gonna take out the companion, we hope. I'm not gonna compulsory rest, so I guess what we're doing here is tapping the fan bearer. Trial. What I'm gonna do about this? Trouble is I don't want to put a cartouche of ambition on the fan bearer. I really want to put it on this blighted bat. Perhaps we compulsory rest the beast, or lethal sting the beast even. Companion is rough to get hit with because they get to ramp. We can do that once. We can let him hit once with the companion. And I think sting the 4-2 to max our mana here is fine. Probably could have attacked there and they wouldn't have blocked. I don't know. I don't bluff as much as I should. I don't think any of us do. Most people are really scared of blocking against open mana like that. Probably could have gotten 1 damage in. Those are, I think, a lot of the different, when I think about the difference between me and top players in the world, I think the best players in the world, among other things that they're better at than me, finding the bluff lines that I don't have the guts to take, I think is a big difference between us and a lot of the top type players. We have a Baleful Amonkhet. Doesn't do great with counters. I'm going to go ahead and play. Like, we don't want Cartouche on Baleful is what I didn't express myself very well. Lifelink onto Lifelink is a kind of a waste of one of the modes of Cartouche, so I really don't want to put this on here. So I guess we're just Blighted Bat attack. I also don't want to try Cartouche nonsense into open mana. They're pausing a lot over there, so I don't know what they've got at instant speed, but they've got stuff. So let's keep that in mind. Well, that might have been it, but we'll see. It did double the damage I was expecting to take here, so I don't love it. But hopefully all this lifelink makes the damage we're taking right now less relevant. I just want them to tap out so that I don't have to take any great risk to Cartouche the bat and kill the companion. Well, we're certainly going to take that risk here. And really, at this point, I like holding Fanbearer for taps and making them beat this game state. Right now, this game state is ours. Let's make Oppo do something about it. Could even tap the Vitalist here. They're not playing land, and we're getting plenty of lifelink back. I know the temptation is to just tap down the potential attacker, but I actually like tapping the Vitalist, and that probably makes Herschel correct that I should be if I like that play, I should be tapping the Vitalist on upkeep, but this is another good place to do it. Solid play. So Oppo has dealt with our plan A, and we're going to move on to plan B, which is a 3/2 lifelinker that gets there. Had to self-target with the -1, unfortunately. I do like holding all of this, though, and again, deciding... Now that they have 4 mana, though, and now that we've tapped the Vitalist and they kind of know what's up, I don't know if we bother tapping this anymore. Now I'm back to tapping the Cheetah, because they've unlocked their mana situation effectively. A weak ending to a strong story always stings. It's funny you say that, Vargan. I'm not a fan of this show, but I just happened to be reading an article about how someone was posing that How I Met Your Mother is failing to have an afterlife. You know, incredibly popular American sitcoms tend to go on to have really popular afterlives. They show up in memes, they show up in reruns, they show up in spin-offs, they show up... they just live in our hearts long after the show has gone after the air. And the article is pointing out that with How I Met Your Mother, people just don't have that feeling about the show because they felt so let down by the finale. This is me not having ever watched the show. I just thought it was an interesting theory. Well, compulsory rest. They got all these pumpers, but they don't do much. I kind of like just offering the attack here. Well, I guess they have a 1-for-1 on the Hope Tender, so maybe that's not good. But anyway, yeah, the How I Met Your Mother was just like people were so mad at the ending that it soured them for the whole show. Okay. What am I doing? I think we tap down Tender, get in with our Amonkhet. I don't want to use it now, though. I'd like to save the catcher's name if I can. Well, now we got to decide.
What do you mean, Flash Gordon approach?
But actually, it's not a zombie.
Open fire!
So there's no real decision at all. We can't save it even with O'Ketcher's name. And actually, zombies only get +1 either, so never mind. Bye! Compulsory rest now on the cheetah, I guess. What does this do? Shuffle. Yeah, Sandworm is scary. That's why I'm holding off on it. I guess we're going to take it for another turn. We're at 11, so we take kind of a smack here, but I am worried that they're ramping to something more significant. People were let down by the Seinfeld finale in a normal way, if that makes sense. I mean, most shows don't stick their landing, if we're honest. Most shows trundle along planning as though they're going to be on the air forever, and then when they actually have to make a decision about how to close the show down, make some questionable ones. But I think How I Met Your Mother, people felt betrayed. Like, I don't even, again, I have not watched the show, but I knew people who loved that show who felt utterly betrayed by it. And I just don't think people felt that about Seinfeld or any other, really at most shows that fail to stick their landings. All right. Just draw gas. Sounds like a plan. Well, it's a start. It's a start. And now we're going to rest the best attacker. Well, I don't want to say, like, okay, I'm going to give How I Met Your Mother spoilers, which is a show I've never seen. But if you don't want spoilers, turn off now. So the whole premise of the show, How I Met Your Mother, is that the episode-by-episode stuff is a dad telling his 2 teenage kids how he met his mother. So it's like it's a look back in time. So it's all set up by this narrator, and then we find out in the last episode that he's telling the story of telling his kids how he met their mother because she's dying of cancer, and then she dies. So that was a no sir for a lot of fans. And honestly, as an outside observer, I got why they did it. Like, as someone who was not a fan of the show and didn't really watch it or anything, that didn't really affect me at all. But I guess I could see how that would be not the heartbreaking conclusion that people wanted from their lighthearted sitcom. Oh, it's worse than that? I don't know. Again, I didn't watch the show. This is all my efforts to properly convey what the world was saying about the show. Why not tap the tender on upkeep? I don't know. I tapped it during combat, because I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they have so much mana. It's like, I'm not trying to deny them mana at this point. I'm trying to deny them attacks. And there is hasty stuff, Sorry, I'm also being too slow. Gotta focus. I'm gonna say we're not attacking yet here, but we're close to attacking. Yeah, by all means, those of you who actually know more, or you can elaborate on that a little more, but that's the broad strokes of where people got really upset. Well, that's trouble. Right here in River City. And now, sure, we'll tap Hope Tender again. Yeah, no blue mana yet. That's good. This, oh, they have blue mana here, actually. And here. All right, though. We might be able to get aggro enough here. Starting with slashing some bones. Tapping a Naga and inviting... blocks. I'm going to send like this. Ideally, we use Okettra's name when we have a more attacking, but if they want to put River Hoopu on the Lord of the Accursed, I will absolutely use Okettra's name to get that thing off the board here. Nice. All right. Well, we have... I'm going to go full control here so that we can tap one of them and then get to use Okettra's name. We'll see where they block. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to get the Lord of the Accursed to be a 4/4 as well, which will trade for the Hope Tender. But let's go ahead and tap down the Ritualist. Now I want to have Battlestar Galactica spoilers. Battlestar Galactica spoilers incoming. Mute if you care. BSG should have ended when they found Earth again. Well, gotta do it to at least get the trade, I think. Don't love this, though. Am I just dead to the crackback, too? I guess they shrink back down. So concerned about getting them dead before River Hoopu takes over that I kind of am not acknowledging my own low life total here. Are we just dead? And we are. Thus endeth the run, but we climbed back to 4 wins. So I'm actually pretty happy about this one. Oh, we're not. Yeah, we can block. We're not literally dead, but we're dead. I'll stay alive for a turn, but like we're dead. You're right, though. I shouldn't call myself fully dead until we're fully dead. I don't know what we draw here to get us out of it. Like, that's my question. I guess we have a tapper. So, maybe we're not fully dead because we have tapper. Maybe we can get back, Yeah, I guess if we draw perfect, draw some removal, draw raise dead ×2. Well, we'll play this and continue to be technically not dead. Are we? Is it this? Oh, Pathmaker. Well, anything be done? Nope. Let's make them. I guess we just don't do anything and hope they don't see it. Well, we're dead if they activate their Pathmaker, which of course they are very likely to do, but some people do it like I could see Oppo here going Pathmaker on Vitalist like before combat, but here, now it looks like they're doing it right. Yeah, I know, but again, make them do it, right? What do you know? They saw it. But that's why I was already talking about being pretty happy with getting back to 4 wins on that one. I didn't think there was anything we were realistically going to be able to do to crawl back in, and sure enough, that one was over. Well, Magic got us here and there. We lost to some nice decks with our nice deck and ended up 4-3. All right. Not the worst. We'll take it. Jumpstart is over. What do we got for packs? Nothing I want to open yet. I am gonna go ahead and call it a stream. Actually, Haj, I have. I'm gonna be meeting with my my contact at Card Kingdom this afternoon, and I want to do a little prep for that meeting. So, gonna talk with Card Kingdom about what's up next for us and whether or not I get a raise. Maybe I get a raise today. We'll find out. I'll let you know, team. And then I'll be back tomorrow for more action. Anybody want to redeem Raid Captain? You can let me know who we're going to raid. Play this. Oh, you want to... Hat wants You're Dead. I've got to try and find it here. Let's see.
Let us hear it.
Is this?
You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world.
There you go. Took a few buttons, but we got there. It's randomized, so I had to hit it till it was randomized. Sure thing. Rule of magic. All right, let's pile on this raid, and I will say goodbye, YouTube friends. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to raid Rule of Magic and send everybody on their way. We'll catch you next time, YouTube. Bye.